What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today is going to be a little bit of a different type of video, more of a message to Chevy and GM. But as you can see, we have multiple different types of trucks. We have a GM here, a couple internationals, Oshkosh, and then down here we have 4 of our new Chevys that we have. This one is a 6500, this one is a Colorado, this one is a Silverado, and this one is a 4500 that I just bought. But on this truck we are having a lovely transmission issue, which is the same reason we ended up with this truck. So I used to have a GMC Sierra, which is basically the same truck, and it had a torque converter issue. If you Google it or you YouTube it or anything, you'll come up with a million different search results. So we brought it to the dealership and they wanted $7,000 to replace the transmission, and instead of doing that, we traded it in and bought this truck. And now let's see how many miles are on it. Let's see how many miles are on it. 93,605. So less than 100,000 miles, and we are having the same issue with this truck. So we are going to the dealership right now to drop it off and see what they will do. No, not that truck. This truck here we're also having an issue with. So this one is, I don't have the key for this, but if you can see this little dial right here, that is your 4-wheel drive. All you do is you spin it and it switches from 2 high to 4 high to 4 low. But basically this one is telling you that there's a 4-wheel drive issue. We had it in at the dealership already 2 or 3 times, and they clear the code, clear the light, and then last time we put it in there, the light came back on 2 days later. So we called the dealership, told them that we need to use the truck because this truck makes us money and we can't be dropping it off there all the time. And they said it's no issue to drive it, but we can't use the 4-wheel drive. So luckily it's the middle of summer, we're not taking it off-road anywhere, so we don't need to deal with that. But obviously there is a bunch of issues with these trucks. So we're gonna see what happens with this one, but hopefully they will do something, because I don't believe it is covered under warranty anymore. This truck is a, let's see, it's a 2019. Maybe it is covered, I have no idea, but we're gonna find out today and hopefully they fix it. But obviously there is a consecutive or repeating issue with these Chevys. So buyer beware here. If you buy any Chevy that's, I think, 2015 through probably new, and it has the 8-speed automatic, you will likely run into this issue just like we are. And if you're not under warranty, they will try and charge you $7,000 like they did to us. And yeah, so if you want a truck that's not going to give you issues, probably don't buy a Chevy. But as you can see, we have a bunch of them, and we actually have another one in storage, which is like that one, but it has a sander on the bed, so it's strictly a plow truck. We don't use it in the summer at all. But if we keep having issues with these trucks, we are going to be seeing less and less Chevys in our parking lot. So Chevys, GM, they're all the same. But hopefully they get this taken care of. There really should be a recall for these, but there's not. So I saw a Google search came up with a lawyer out of California who is opening a lawsuit, or opened a lawsuit against Chevy for this reason. And if you live in California, you can message him and he'll help you out if you're dealing with this. But of course we're in New York, so that's not happening. But hopefully we get this taken care of. I am gonna hop in and we're gonna head down and drop it off at the dealership now, and I will let you know how that goes once we're done there. So one thing I want to add, we are just sitting here at the bank real quick. My grandfather had to run in there. He's the one driving that truck down to the dealership. But one thing I want to add is that obviously if you are a follower of my channel, or if you've seen any of my videos, especially the winter ones, you know that we have a bunch of different types of trucks, all from older all the way to brand new pretty much. So the only trucks that we are having consecutive issues or repeating issues with are these Chevys and GMs. The Internationals give us no issues. The Oshkoshes give us no issues. We used to have a bunch of Fords. We pretty much used to only have Fords and started switching over to Chevy. We became a Chevy fleet member, or whatever it is. We have a fleet account because we have so many Chevys now. So it is a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Concerning that we're having all these issues with just our Chevys. We really don't run into any other issues. Like I said, we used to have all Fords, but we got rid of them because they were like starting to rust out, and we didn't really like the quality of them. But driveline wise, they seem to be better than these Chevys are treating us. So I don't know what the boss man is going to do about this if we keep running into these issues over and over. This truck that we're going to drop off now, that's the truck I used to drive, and then when my uncle came on board and started working for us, he got that truck. I got this Colorado, which we went and bought brand new, and I had that truck at the dealership because I felt the transmission slipping, which is the same thing that my uncle is feeling while he drives it. He drives it every day, so he's gonna feel it probably quite often. And he called me this morning and said he's worried about getting left on the side of the road. So when I had the Silverado, or not the Silverado, the Sierra, the GMC Sierra, I was actually driving home from a trip across the country, and I was in the middle of Pennsylvania, middle of the winter, made it to a hotel, woke up the next morning, turned it on, went to drive out of the parking lot, and the truck wouldn't go anywhere. So we got stuck in Pennsylvania, had to rent a car, leave that truck. We actually had to get that truck towed to a dealership in Pennsylvania, like, where was it? Erie, PA, I think. So that truck was at the dealership there, and that is when we found out what the real issue was, and ended up getting a rental car to get home. Had that truck, I forget how we got it back, but we ended up getting it back to New York, and probably on a flatbed or something like that. And then we went to the dealership at home because the guys in Erie were not our dealership that we purchased it from. We've never gone there, whatever. So we brought it to our local dealership where we purchased it, and that is where we found out that they don't want to help us out. They want to charge us $7,000 for a new motor or a new transmission, blah, blah, blah. And it just wasn't worth it at that point. That truck had like 100,000 miles on it. So we ended up trading it in and getting this truck. But I don't know if these issues keep happening and it was my decision, I would be switching over to a different company pretty fast, and I would get rid of all these Chevys. They're good trucks when they run good and they work good, but for the plow trucks, the turning radius kind of sucks. Running into a four-wheel drive issue with the plow truck, granted, when you're loaded up with salt, you don't really need to use four-wheel drive, but if you have a heavy snowfall and you get no weight in the back end of your truck, say your sander is empty, then you're just going to be sitting there spinning. So you run into an issue where you can't even use four-wheel drive. What are you going to do? Call somebody to tow you out when it's just snow on the road and you're in a plow truck? Doesn't really make sense. So either way, hopefully they will help us out at the dealership. Of course, the dealership we are going to, we are new with them. We just started going there because Chevy did not renew the commercial license or whatever it is for the dealership that we purchased all these trucks at, where they're not allowed to work on commercial trucks anymore. So we have to go down to this other dealership, even though this truck is not a commercial truck, but we bring all our other ones down here now, like that other 6500 that has the four-wheel drive issue. We bring that one down here, and we want to build a relationship here, so that is why we were going here. But who knows what they're going to do, because we didn't buy the truck from them. We've only been there a couple times, and what they did fix is broken again. So I don't know, it's a bit of a headache, so dealing with a bunch of truck drama. But I will fill you guys in once we leave the dealership and we know what is going on with it.